13. You listen to AM 1050 WIP. I am Lenny Palmer, and as promised, in the studio with us is Crystal Miller, candidate on the Republican side for 65th Assembly in Kenosha. How are you today?
I am well.
That's good. Well is good.
Thank you for having me. I am grateful to be able to meet you. Your reputation precedes you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm sorry, yeah. There's no police lights going on or anything here, so don't worry about that. Anyway, I call these first interviews. Perhaps we'll have a couple more between you and Mr. Onstad, but it's a meet and greet because a lot of people want to know who you are and what you're all about. Now, you're married, mom of three?
I am. My children are Evan, Naomi, and Simon. Yep. Naomi. That's
a cool name.
It is.
And how old are they?
My oldest is 15. He worked really hard that last week in the city, like doing all the things, boarding up and carrying garbage and carrying water.
Helping out.
And helping out. So 15, 13, and 11.
Well, I've got 4 kids, and I tell you what, I've been through those stages, so good luck.
We are busy at our house.
Good luck, that's all I have to say. I mean, our friend Tim, the news guy here for Illinois, has got 3 little boys, and I tell you what.
Little was hard, but today, these days are really hard.
Yeah. Well, when kids get older, they get opinions, and they start, spreading their wings, and sometimes it's tough because they're moving away from you, but that's good. I mean, it's definitely a learning experience for anybody.
For sure.
Nothing like being a parent. Absolutely nothing.
Hardest and best job in the world.
Best job and most important job in the world. So you're also a small business owner.
I am. Along with my husband, we own Frentita Assisted Living, 11 years now. And we do operate one of our 7 homes in Kenosha.
7 homes?
7. 6 different locations, 7 facilities, almost 200 team members. And
as we would say, employees.
Most people say employees.
Yeah, I'm the older guy.
Yes.
Are they all located in southeast Wisconsin?
So I'm Kenosha, Racine, Fond du Lac, Appleton, and actually New Berlin as well.
Up there in Lake Winnebago area, huh? And the assisted living, of course, is people who need
They cannot live alone safely. Yes, and I specialize in actually in Kenosha. I take care of older adults with mental illness.
Okay.
But then a couple of my homes also specialize in people with memory care needs. So we fit the community and what the needs are, and we serve.
And you've been doing this for 11 years?
11 years.
Is this your first experience in small business?
No. In 2004, my husband and I both left our jobs on the same day. He, by choice, because we had about 20 rental units. And I left that day because I was laid off. I was pregnant.
Okay.
It was November 30, 2004. And we set off on our own trying to make our way, really looking for the American dream, but really freedom for our family to be able to be there for them. And in between 08 and 10, we lost everything and started over.
I know all about that. That's happened to me.
Yes.
But it's not only a learning experience, but it can make you stronger.
Oh, I would not be where I am today if I had not gone through those extraordinary challenges. And I'll tell you one thing, after surveying our city this week and spending so much time on the ground talking with business owners who are struggling, even more so, I'm grateful for that experience in my life.
It brought you here.
Yes, it did.
Now you're here as a wife and mother, as a small business owner, Crystal Miller, but also as the candidate on the Republican side of the ballot for the 65th Assembly seat in Kenosha. And what made you decide that you wanted? Is this your first run in politics?
My first time, yes. I'm a newbie. So, I have seen change happen in Madison when we have a collective voice and we take them there. So the work that I do depend on government funding for about half of our revenue. And as a result of that, my caregivers, I see challenges in even what I'm able to pay them. So we would go to Madison and lobby and work hard. And actually, my favorite place to be was in Republicans' offices, saying you have to provide more funding so that we are able to do what you've asked us to do with these contracts, taking care of our really vulnerable people. And in doing that, the 2017 budget had $60 million that directly was funneled to caregivers, and then handing those caregivers the checks and telling them, listen, Governor Walker and your legislator cares about the work you're doing, passing them that check that we worked hard for, but that they made happen through their influence. And when I saw, people saying, oh, one person can't do anything. Well, that's probably true. But if everybody said that, nothing good would happen. And seeing change happen and being a part of it gave me a vision for other challenges I see in our workforce and helping them be successful.
So were you a conservative, or did you have a conservative, did you lean conservative before that happened?
I have always been conservative. And I'm in an interesting space. I mean, providing social services, I'm a little bit of an anomaly.
Yeah, because most people would say that's a liberal thing.
Well, most people would. I don't believe that. I don't believe
Why?
that at all. Probably because I'm a conservative and I care about it.
Okay, well, that's always a good answer,
yeah, I mean,
but most people, you hear
I'm
the
living
liberal
the opposite
message.
Space, so I know. I'm living opposite of that.
Are you getting pushback from your conservative fellows? Are they saying, "Hey, what are you doing? We shouldn't be doing this. The money should go elsewhere"?
Absolutely not. I believe that conservatives believe we should take care of vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that with my whole heart. And people that push back on that, they're not my people.
Even if they're a member of the party?
Absolutely. Those are not my people. People that would say, what do you mean you're taking government funding to take care of these vulnerable people? Elderly, people that have struggled with mental illness their whole life, and that the routines that we offer them are the things that are helping our community be successful. If those people want to push back on me, it's fine. I mean, I don't have anything to fight about. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I live conservative values. I'm running on family, faith, community, and work. And I believe that people with some common sense look at those words and look at what they mean, and many people get on board with that. That is common sense. Family, faith, community, and work. If we can have those values alive and well in our life, well, look around you. Think of the people you know lead a successful life. 3 of those 4 things are alive and well in their life.
Hard work, too.
Hard work. And policies that support hard work. We all want that. We want opportunities for us to not only pursue the American dream and happiness, but achieve it. That is what I'm for. And so, yes, I'm on the Republican side of the ballot. I am a conservative. And I think that those values are more appealing to common sense Wisconsinites than anybody realizes.
What is your take? By the way, it is 10:21. You're listening to AM 1050 WIP. I'm Lenny Palmer. In the studio with us is Crystal Miller. She's a candidate for the 65th Assembly seat in Kenosha. Just getting a little meet and greet here and finding out what you're all about. What's your take on what happened in Kenosha the past week and a half or so?
It's just tragic. It is just tragic. So 4 years ago, I started a journey in my own heart and life in learning to understand systemic racism. And
was there an epiphany, or was there something? Was there a tipping point, or something that
I believe
gave you
that
that
violence that we experienced as a country the summer of 2016? Yes, it was a tipping point for me. It just opened my eyes to a place where I said, we have to understand more. And I believe if more people, we can't legislate people's hearts, but I think creating spaces where people can gain an understanding of why we are experiencing some of the challenges that we have will get us to a place where people's hearts will lean in. What we heard this week from Julia Jackson, Jacob Blake's mom, when she said, let's examine our hearts. That is what we need to do as a society. And so what happened was tragic. And the aftermath of it had some very bright spots. But what we saw with very peaceful protests with good messages that were hijacked at, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 1 a.m., that hijacking that drowned out the message that we all need to have our ears and eyes open to was tragic as well.
Where do we go from here?
We need to seek understanding. I think we need to understand the way that people of color feel in their relationship with police officers. I think we need to seek understanding of how police officers feel when they are put in those situations. And Legislating that, I think that we have an opportunity to provide resources.
When you say legislating,
I mean, it's a question mark when I say legislating that. It's like a question mark. And what does that mean? We can't legislate that, but we can provide resources.
such as, are we talking about, because we've thrown money at this problem forever, and just pure money.
I don't think that it is programs that are going to solve this, but I do think that some systems can be looked at and provide opportunities and spaces for people to learn and understand. That is a start. When you say, where do we go from here? I think that's a start. And I truly believe with my whole heart that wisdom in that phrase, examine your heart, there's a lot of wisdom there, and people that all sides of this. But what happened in the wee hours of the morning in Kenosha, it is tragic that we did not have more help and that we did not feel protected, that people truly armed themselves in their own homes. Those were really scary moments for people of Kenosha, really scary for children to see that. And when I toured uptown, I didn't just tour uptown, I was on the ground there, working and helping and listening. The opportunities that I had to sit with business owners and listen and hear their hearts on how that felt, it certainly helped me gain understanding. And this is the thing, I think that the experience that I had sitting in a space with two business owners, listening to them, and then having someone who currently is in office walk in the door and hand his business card and say, okay, I'm here to give you some information. Didn't ask who they were, didn't ask how they were affected, didn't ask how things were going or how they were feeling, passed this information and walked out. And it was, in my mind, this dichotomy of what I want to be for Kenosha. I really can't stand the word politician. I want to represent.
You are one now, though.
Well, how do you define politician? I'm really not.
Yes, an interview with me on the fact that you're running for an office. You are now a politician.
I have not been able to work on policy quite yet, but I do have opinions on that, and I want to represent our people. And I want to understand the things that are happening. And I think I come from a space of seeing so much, seeing a caregiver that I offer a raise to. She's not able to take it because our benefit system isn't structured well enough that it makes sense for her to take a raise. Therefore, she's wondering, why am I working so hard?
You've got some real hard nuts in the Republican Party up in Madison that may be listening to this thinking they don't like what they're hearing. I mean, you're talking about benefits for older folks. You're talking about money coming from the taxpayers to a system that many people would consider to be welfare, even though it's older folks or people who need help. How are you going to be able to deal with these people if you are successful in your run for office?
Probably the same way I've dealt with them to this point.
Which
what I learned when I first entered this race is I believe that the negotiating does not happen with the other side as much as it happens with the side that you're on. And quite honestly, to this point, the best days and the best conversations have been talking with someone who thinks they're on my side and sharing a different point of view to help them gain understanding. And do I believe that's going to be a tough road? Absolutely. But I don't have anyone to please except the people of this state that are depending on someone with common sense to show up. And I promise you I will show up. I will fight for Kenosha. I will work hard for this whole state. This race has statewide impact. And I am not your average Republican. I am a common sense conservative. And we need a lot more of them. There's a reason that more of us aren't entering this race. This is hard. I have never worked so hard as I have worked. It feels like an uphill battle. And quite honestly, Lenny, some days I feel very alone.
And if you are successful in your bid for office, you may be even more alone.
You know what? I'm not afraid of being alone. Because what I saw this week in the people of Kenosha who said, Crystal, you sound like what I'm looking for, those were people that have never spoke to me before and probably had never thought about the opportunity that I could bring to actually represent them because of the R by my name. But I'm not here because I'm a Republican. I'm here because I care about this city. Lenny, I am different. There's no doubt I'm different. And it's okay. I don't want to be in a box. I'm totally fine with that. I'm a conservative. I've always believed in conservative values. And that's why I'm on this ticket as a Republican. But I don't need to be in a box. It's not a problem.
Crystal Miller, our time is up already.
I wanted to talk longer.
I know. Believe me, I believe you could. But our time is up, and I know I've invited Mr. Onstad back on, your opponent, and I'm inviting you too back on.
I would welcome the opportunity. Thank you.
Perhaps we'll get the two of you in the studio together. We'll see if that happens, okay?
I'd love it.
All right. Crystal Miller, thank you very much for your candor, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Lenny. Appreciate it.
Okay.
From the rough railroad crossing on 39th Avenue by the VFW Hall to the rough railroad crossing on 30th Avenue just south of 60th Street. Live and local.